Hey everyone, this video is called How to Buy Your First Home Like an Investor. So, this video is for you if you meet the three following qualifications. Number one, you want to own rental properties. Your long-term plan is to own income-producing rental properties. That's number one. Number two, you don't mind moving every 1 to 3 years. Let's say you will have to live in the property for a while and then move out in order to rent it out. So, you got to move in order to make that happen. And then number three is you either lack or you don't want to put down the full 25% down payment required for investment real estate. So you can get as low as 3.5% on an owner-occupant loan. You could do 3.5%, 5%, even 10% down is obviously a lot less than a full 25% down. So if these all are you, stay tuned, and we're going to get into some different strategies as to how you can buy your first home like an investor. Okay, to buy your first home like an investor, there's two primary strategies that I want to talk about. The first is called house hack. If you haven't heard of house hacking, essentially what you're going to do is, the most extreme version of a house hack is you buy a fourplex unit, you live in one unit, and you rent out the other three. Classic. Okay. Obviously, you could also do that with a duplex. You live in one side, you rent the other, a triplex, etc. Okay, so you can only get up to 4 units with an owner-occupant loan. 5 units and more is a commercial property and is not, it's a completely different deal. So up to 4 units. Other ways to do this are Airbnb. So let's say you buy maybe a nice duplex in a nice part of town, part of Seattle, something cool nearby. You live in one unit, you Airbnb the other unit, okay? The other strategy that we can talk about is you buy a house with a big lot on it, and you actually can build a DADU, which is called a detached auxiliary dwelling unit. So it's another little house, maybe about 900 square feet house, and you could rent that one out or Airbnb it. Now, these are just some strategies that you could do. You could also just buy a townhome and have some roommates. That's really technically another house hack, or Airbnb some of the rooms, some of these strategies. What I'm going to do is link to a bunch of different case studies below of different things that our clients have done and different things that I've done or the staff here have done to leverage a house hack strategy with their primary residence. That's number one. Number two is a little more long-term, a little more traditional. So this would be if you don't want to live with your tenants or do the whole Airbnb thing. You just don't like that idea. It doesn't work for you and your lifestyle. Fine. Another way to do it is just buy a house or a townhouse with the intention going in that, okay, we're going to buy this and we're going to keep it as a rental long-term. So we're going to move in. We're going to live there for a year, maybe 2 years. And while we're living there, we're going to save up another down payment. And then we're going to move out, buy another one, and keep it as a rental, the first one. Okay, a more traditional retail real estate broker will tell you, buy your starter home, build equity, and then sell it and use the appreciation for the down payment on the next homes, and then you can get into your dream home as like a stepping stone, which is fine, except that then you don't have a rental property. So what I'm saying is don't do that. Keep the first one, and when you're going into it, plan on keeping it. And the difference between that is your intention going in. So you're going to be looking for properties that make good rental properties, and we can talk about what those are, but that's the plan going in. So and even the upgrades and things you do to the property while you're living there, you're like, okay, is this going to make sense 10 years from now? Because you're going to keep it long-term for a rental. Now, the most aggressive approach to that is every year for 10 years. You can get up to 10 loans with this strategy, okay? So you move in, you live there for a year, during that year, you save up another down payment and you do it again. And you move every year, and that's pretty aggressive. I've seen people do it. I've seen people do it every 2 years. So they'll save up a down payment in 2 years and they'll move every 2 years for a 10-year period, and they'll have 5 rental properties by the end of it. So it's really up to you. It's a different kind of strategy. And again, I'm going to link to all this below, different case studies, and look at kind of the financials of these things. But I just want to give you an overview. So those are the two main ones. Those are by no means all of the strategies, but they're the two main ones, and everything is really kind of an offshoot of those two strategies, house hack and owner occupy. Regardless of which strategy you utilize, you deploy, either the house hack or the owner occupy, what we want to look for are properties that meet these three criteria. And I call this the equity growth trifecta. Okay, ideally we need at least two of these three. Okay, and the three things are: number one, a unique situation; number two, a growing area; and number three, deferred maintenance. Okay, so a unique situation would be the seller, the person who currently owns a property that you're buying it from, is going through some sort of unique situation, and which is forcing them to sell and not just wait around for the world's greatest price. They just need to sell immediately, such as a divorce, sometimes a death, sometimes they need the money out of the house because of a job relocation, they need to move and they're moving somewhere else. Probate is someone died, and they inherited the property, maybe, you know, so unique situations where they really don't care as much about the price point, but really just getting out of the house, getting it paid off, and moving on with their life. So that's a unique situation. Growing area. So growing area is simply that, like where is the next place in Seattle or surrounding areas that's going to grow. And I'll make notes in another video about how to identify growing areas, but it's really not that complicated, right? You need to look at a map and go, okay, this area blew up. It'll probably be another one. So recently we've seen, you know, Columbia City. We saw Ballard absolutely explode. We saw places like Burien come up. You know, I mean, look, some of the markets out and about. I mean, Mount Lake Terrace. Anywhere where those train stations are going in are already identified. So you need to find the next one. You can't just, that's too obvious. So you got to find the next one. You got to think ahead. Where's going to be the next area? Georgetown blew up. No one was talking about that, and all of a sudden Georgetown is a big deal. So look at a map, look at the different neighborhoods, drive around, think about it, and that's the main thing. Okay, you got to be able to see the future a little bit. Pretty important. Okay, so growing area. And then finally was deferred maintenance. That's pretty obvious. So if the property's a little outdated, needs some work, something's going on with it, and you can go in and fix it, it's a great way to add value, okay? Because, you know, just like all the TV shows, but basically it's outdated, you can clean it up and do all that. So now, which of these do you want to prioritize? And what I wrote here is, you know, what you want to do is inventory your resources, okay? Who do you know? Okay, inventory your resources besides money. Okay, so obviously you have some money, you have a down payment, great. What else do you have in your social resources or your personal skill sets and abilities? For example, we did a rental property and needed a new roof really bad, okay? One of the members on our team, you know, we called the roofer, he did the roof, he gave us a great deal on the roof, you know, basically the supplies, his labor charges, and a really small profit for him, and then we made him a video, like a promotional video for his business. So we filmed the whole thing, we did this cute thing, we made him like this 2-minute video that he put up on his website, which he can use forever. So we bartered a deal on the roof in exchange for a video. So because my partner on that deal had the ability to make videos, has a nice camera, knows how to do all that stuff, that was a good deal for everybody involved. So we bartered that roof. And you could do the same thing depending on your skill sets, okay? Can you build websites? Can you, are you good at accounting? Can you do taxes for people? Because a lot of contractors and vendors, they're really good at what they're good at. Tiling, roofs, plumbing, electrical, flooring, painting, landscaping, whatever, windows, siding. But they might lack these other skills as to like website development or doing their taxes or whatever it is, okay? So what do you have in terms of skills and abilities that you can barter? A lot of people don't think about that, and a lot of people don't talk about it. And then another one, of course, is sweat, equity, and effort. What can you actually do? Now, I meet a lot of people who think that they can just YouTube how to install cabinetry and stuff like that. Probably not. But what most people can do in terms of sweat equity is landscaping, planting things, painting. You can usually do a decent job at that, and people won't know that it was done by a not professional. So that sweat equity stuff can really be done. And then maybe you do have some skill set in the manual maintenance construction world that you could use, okay? So Those are big. What resources do you have? And that's going to help you identify. I mean, sometimes it's really obvious. My brother's a plumber. Great. Look for a house with plumbing problems. Okay. But sometimes it's not so obvious. And you got to be a little more creative. But look at what resources you have, and then that's going to help you identify what type of properties, what type of problems you're going to invest in, because when you solve problems, that's how you add value, and that's how you get the highest return on your money in any situation, and especially in real estate investing. So now, the home buying process. So if you're watching this, you've probably never bought a piece of real estate before. I'm going to breeze through the process in this video, and I'm going to make a whole nother video about the home buying process, paperwork, contracts, and all that good stuff. But in general, overview what the home buying process is. What do we got? We got 7 steps here, okay? Number 1, contact me, all right? All my stuff's below or somewhere on this webpage. Get in touch with me. Let's get together. Let's start strategizing, and let's get an actual plan in place and get you into something. Number 1. Number 2, got to get you pre-approved. That's when we meet. We're going to talk about your situation, what you're thinking, what your timeline is, etc. And then we're going to get you connected with mortgage lender who can get you pre-approved. So that's going to be basically, hey, go to the mortgage lender. They're going to look at all the different loan programs that are available and be like, here's a couple ones. These are the pros. These are the cons. We're going to pick one, and then we're going to know how much money you have to invest. Okay, so if you have $20,000, $30,000 to put down, that's going to be a big determinant of what the price point is that we can start shopping at. That's 2. Number 3, underwrite deals and set criteria, which you can probably start doing now and kind of do all these at the same time. But underwrite deals, so download our deal analyzer, watch the videos on our deal analysis so that you can see how to underwrite deals, identify deals, know what you're looking for, and in the process of doing that, you're going to start setting your criteria, okay? After you've inventoried your resources, you know what area you want to go, you know what problems you're looking for, you know what growing areas you want to target, you know what is important to you and where you're working and your lifestyle and all of that. We're going to set your buying criteria, and once we do that, I promise you this, and it's in your price point, there's really not going to be that many to choose from, because we're going to narrow it down with this criteria. This is what I want. There's going to be 2 to choose from. We're going to make offers on both of them and hopefully get one. Okay, so you say your criteria, and then the next thing we're going to do is start making offers. So start making offers before we do anything else. People think that's crazy. It's not. You're going to make an offer. You're going to have contingencies. I'll link to the video below about the different contingencies, okay? But you make an offer. That's just the first step. Once the offer is accepted, that's when we go in and do our due diligence. That's when we're going to double check everything. We're going to do a property inspection, make sure everything checks out, or the problems that we thought were problems are the only problems there are, and there's no other big problems there, okay? Now, and number 2, we're going to check our rent. We're going to do neighborhood contingencies. We're going to look at everything about that property after we've got it accepted at a number that works for us. It doesn't make any sense to spend 4 or 5 hours doing due diligence on a property that you don't even know if you can get at the price you need it at. Okay, so flip that, write the offer first, get it under contract, and then we'll go and do all of our due diligence, and we'll start negotiating at that point. Okay, so that's important. Then the due diligence. Once we've satisfied our due diligence, we're like, you know what? It checks out. It checks all our boxes. It looks good. Let's move. That's when you move to fund and close. Okay, so then we're going to do all the stuff at escrow. We're going to get your down payment in there. You're going to go there, sign all the papers, and it closes the property, and then the property is yours. And then the last step, usually people say, okay, it's closed. Good luck. No, okay, because you have a bigger plan. This is just part of it. The last step of this whole thing is executing your plan. Okay, so if your plan was to do the roof, do the landscaping, replace the windows and the siding, and then paint the exterior and just do a full exterior cleanup of this property, you have to actually do that for this plan to work. Okay, so then you're going to execute the plan. And me and my firm and anyone who works at my company is going to help you and be there with you the whole way through executing the plan. We're not just going to hand you your keys, take a picture for Instagram, and bounce. We're going to be with you from the beginning all the way to the end, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Okay, so executing the plan is really where the rubber meets the road. And that's the home buying process. contact pre-approved, underwrite deals and set your criteria, make offers, do your due diligence, fund and close, and execute your plan. I hope that answers all your questions. Again, give me a call, shoot me an email, fill out the form below, and let's get this thing rolling.